What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back for another Wednesday live stream for UFC Nachos, Effie? What is it? Noche UFC? Nacho UFC?
No,
All right, we got
UFC.
Fight Night in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. The rematch at the women's flyweight division for the title. A free Fight Night card on ESPN Plus. Alexa Grasso takes on the woman that she took the belt from earlier this year, Valentina Shevchenko. So that's a super fun, really high-profile fight. I'm really excited for after rewatching that first fight from earlier this year in March. How about you, Effie? How do you feel about this card?
Dude, we were just talking off air. I'm thinking about going to this card. I want to make sure no fights get canceled, but it's a pretty fun card, man. It sucks about Gaslam and Shavkat getting canceled. But the main event and co-main, I mean, those are two good fights you could ask for. So a lot of bangers on this one, a lot of wide favorites, but a lot of Mexicans. So let's go, mi gente. Room for my Mexicans on this one. Might be parlaying some here soon, so we'll see.
Dude, I'm so good at this content creating game. I can't believe I got you on here. The expert on Mexicans out of the MMA betting community. I did it by complete accident too. I just saw it's been a while since you've been on the channel. I figured I'd rotate you in. And I had no idea that this was UFC Nachos I got you on here for. So this is not racial profiling, but, man, I'm just so goddamn good, Effie. But I didn't give you a full intro, man. This is Effie, my boy from the AnyActionSportscast. He's been on this channel several times before, so you guys should all know him. But if you don't, this guy's a profitable gambler, makes really good content. He's got a producer on his channel too, man. You got Martin on the ones and twos. I mean, you got a real professional setup over there, man.
Shout out to Martin, man. Yeah, dude, thanks. I appreciate it. Been on channel before. I love your channel too, man. Sick seeing you guys grow over there. And yeah, man, I'm excited to get into these fights. I know you know your stuff, so I'm looking for some bets. So yeah.
Yeah, like you said, 11 fights remain on this card. There's been a lot of cancellations. You said the Shavkat one. We had like Cynthia Calvillo won the card, D-Rod and Santiago Ponzinibbio. But man, we still got 11 fights left, and there's a lot of big favorites and expected Mexican fighters to be showcased on this card. You know, that's kind of what they're doing. They're teeing up some victories. Raul Rosas Jr., minus 800 favorite. We got, who else we got in here? Edgar Chairez has got a Brazilian opponent that's a total gas bag. We got Tracy Cortez in a pretty closely lined fight. So, I mean, there's a lot of just expected ones, but we're going to go through and try to identify which of these favorites might end up failing us. Don't want a situation like last week where Israel Adesanya probably shattered a bunch of people's parlays. I mean, how'd you make out on that card? Did you have many bets on that one?
Dude, it was the least amount of bets I've had on a card in forever. I only had one bet on the entire card. Adesanya inside the distance, plus 110. That obviously lost, dude. What a result, dude. One of those where like it makes you sit back and like, dude, that's why we love the sport, dude. Like, I gave him no chance. I gave Sean no chance, zero chance. And I couldn't have been more wrong, dude. That was insane to watch. So I lost 1 unit. Yeah, I ended up losing just minus 1 unit on the card.
That's the I've been getting into that myself, just trying to like narrow my selection of betting down, where sometimes I only have a couple of bets. But that's the scary part, though, is you might end up with nothing, which that's why I think a lot of people in this game, they just rapid fire and throw darts at like 20 different props. That way, at least they can't say they got reverse swept, you know. But yeah, like this card in particular, I only have 2 money lines and 2 props so far. Hopefully we can add some more. Last week I made out, dude. I made out just like 0.63 units of profit. I had the over, luckily, in the main event, not picking a side, and chased a lot of underdogs. Only one of them came through. That was that Chepe Mariscal. So hopefully this Mexican energy comes into this week too. Bring some good Chepe energy. I am taking another dog in the main event here, so we'll see if the dog energy continues this week. But we can shout out the chat real fast. We got Mushroom MMA in the house saying, "What is up, Patrick? What is up? Any action?" Our girl Jenna Marie, the certified gem of MMA Twitter, doing her thing in the chat with the flame emojis, the fist emoji. Pat and Effie, yes, let's fucking go. We got Kiwi in the house. Good to see you, Kiwi. And we got Jussie Q. Maybe I don't know if you said BetMGM didn't drop their props yet, right? So we're not going to get any Jussie Q method of victory props in the chat tonight. But I know the last time Kevin Holland fought, he called that Kevin Holland Darce choke. So
oh wow,
yeah, he says he's with us like plus 3,000. He's still tingling over Strickland. Never been so happy to lose a hundo in my life, bro. Dude. Can you believe, Effie? Can you believe the worst, most basic style in martial arts middleweight history? Flat-footed, standing there throwing ones and twos.
with this
Yeah.
like picking up a foot kangaroo style. I couldn't believe it, dude.
You see what
Out to Sean, dude.
After he got the belt, he's just like, yeah, I thought I was fighting the fucking amateur in there.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Dude, my phone was blowing up. Everyone was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Like, oh my god, dude! I watched that replay of Izzy getting dropped like 1,000 times. Like, that's clean, dude. Like, push his hand out the way. Boom.
That was incredible. And they still had the nerve to make him like a massive favorite on the live lines too. I saw a lot of people were sending me their bet slips of the live lines they got, plus 200, plus 300 going into the second part of that fight on Strickland. So, man, people cashed out if they were live betting that one. We got our guy Tyler 138 MMA. What is up, my friend? Mushroom MMA saying, Nacho UFC. My guy, 2 cents in the house. Now we're cooking with grease, boys. What is up, Patrick and Effie? And yeah, he's doing Dana White Contender Series tape study. Is Tyler? Yeah, man, getting an early start on next week, son. Let's. You do any Dana White Contender Series stuff, Effie?
No, man. I actually like that show because, or for the reason, like I don't know who they are. I don't do any study. I just show up and watch the fights. I actually think it's kind of fun. I know a lot of people like tape it and then bet on it, but I actually think it's fun just to show up like who the hell are these people. Dude, yesterday was awesome. That card yesterday, like bangers, dude. Like wow. So yeah, man, I love that show and shout out to Tyler, man. He definitely knows his stuff too. Shout out to him. Subscribe to his channel for sure.
He does awesome analysis, and I should start. I'm usually finishing up. I've been so late the past couple of weeks doing my final tape study for just the fights that are this week that I'll watch the Dana White Contender Series as a break. Don't have time to break it down, but yeah, everybody shout out to 138 MMA dropping that knowledge. I think he does it pretty early in the week too, like Sunday or Monday. He drops that Contender Series stuff. So our guy, Real Fight Picks MPTV in the house. My fiance thinks I'm watching a kitchen cabinet restoration tutorial. Feel free to use DIY terms if you want to want me to watch the entire show. Effie, that oak finish is looking really crispy you got there. Where'd you pick that up at? Was that Home Depot? Was that Lowe's? Where was that?
It was actually Lowe's. It was on sale. 25% off.
Very nice. Very nice finish on that oak cabinet you got there. Lucid is in the house saying, woot. And we got AJ saying, let's fucking go. MMA Premium. Loving the streams. What is up, Deshaun Strickland? Man, on that note, we can move on to the first prelim of the night here, man. We got 11 fights to get through, and we kick it off with 2 debuting fighters off of Dana White Replacement Series, a.k.a. Dana White Contender Series. We got Josephine Knutsson taking on Marnik Mann. These are 2 women that were both on DWCS, and they did not get awarded contracts. You know, Knutsson had a pretty impressive performance last month in a decision win. Marnik Mann got knocked out last year by Bruna Brazil via that highlight reel head kick in round 2, but they both are replacing fighters that dropped off this card. We see them make their debut at 115. Knutsson is undefeated at 6-0, and she does have a very credentialed history in Muay Thai, kickboxing, K1 fighter, trains out of MMA All-Stars in Sweden with, Team Gustafsson, Kamzat, people like that are in the UFC. So her striking looks really crisp. Her strength in the clinch looks really crisp. Her groundwork looks to be improving as well. Marnik Mann is a girl who's pretty as small as you can get for this weight class, right? She's 5 foot tall, kind of like a wrestle boxing style of striking. I don't think her striking is all that impressive. She needs to get really close in range to make anything happen there. And she probably needs to get this fight to the mat. I just don't think she's going to have much success doing so. And as such, the bookmakers are onto that too. Josephine Knutsson on BetOnline is a -800 favorite. Marnik Mann, the +550 underdog. I mean, what does Marnik Mann have to do to win this fight, Effie?
She has to get this girl on the cage and get a body lock quick. She needs this fight on the mat, like you said. On the feet, it's night and day. There's a huge speed gap here going towards Josephine. When I watched Marnik fight, dude, it's crazy. I mean, obviously the head kick to Bruna Brazil wasn't a good look, dude. But her hands, dude, she like walks forward with their palms facing each other. Like, it's very stocky and slow and stiff. She loses on Contender Series and goes and fights like a dead body in LFA. That girl was horrible too, and she head and arm throwed herself to the ground twice. Yeah. She ended up on bottom twice. I've seen her get pieced up by way lower level strikers than Knutsson. Knutsson, it's not a good look to get head kicked on Contender Series, and then you have Josephine landed a sick head kick in her Contender Series last fight. She didn't get a contract. She didn't finish the fight. That was kind of weird. A lot of clinch, like you said. But yeah, man, it just comes down to, does Josephine finish her or does she win a decision? She does win mostly decisions, but I actually think that she will finish this fight. McCann is slow, man. I really do think that she's really slow. Level of competition is bad. She's short and weak, like you said. Josephine inside the distance.
Yeah, and Josephine inside the distance is at that minus 130 price tag as well. Knutsson by decision, not that far off, minus 110. Actually, I'm seeing plus 130. I got plus 130 on Bet Online for Knutsson inside the distance. I'm leaning decision myself just because of how much this girl clinches up and burns time on the fence, controlling with the clinch knees, grabs that Muay collar, that Muay Thai double collar tie up. That actually could be pretty effective, though, against a 5 foot tall fighter. Now that I think about it, right? That's so much less travel for that knee to hit the chin of Marnik Mann. That could work really well in her favor. But Marnik Mann, she's tough, man. Yeah, I've seen her take quite a beating before. And you mentioned that last fight that Marnik Mann had in the LFA. She barely won that fight. Was that a split decision? I think it was.
Yeah,
but
and
she barely won that fight.
She needed some reversals. She was like on bottom, and she needed some sweeps. But she had good submission defense too. So it does kind of go to your point, like she is tough, but I don't really see Knutsson trying to like submit this girl. I think she's gonna let her up and just piece her up, dude. Brazil was kicking her like in the leg, in the knee, in the body, and in the head. Like it was kicking her ass, kind of.
And her cardio didn't seem to be all that good either when she was absorbing that damage. It really slowed her down. Yeah, I'm not partial to any side, but you do have to chop down this number somehow. I mean, this is like banana pill pricing, like minus 800, minus 700 on Knutsson, debuting fighter. Like, what if she does pull a stunt and just, like, I don't know, injure herself or something, end up on bottom? Man just lays on her for 2 rounds. That's the only way I could really see her losing this fight. So I think everybody's right in the house to say, AJ's calling the Knutsson round 2 KO. Sean V in the house saying Knutsson the most confident pick, as sure thing as it gets. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I think it would have to be Knutsson screwing up somehow, not Marnik Mann winning this on her own merit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's been a lot of spots, though. Like Knutsson was a minus 1,300 favorite on the road to the UFC a couple of years ago, and she didn't get the finish there either, So they called that a mismatch. She was teeing off on this girl in the clinch and did not finish the fight. So I would imagine she's going to try to make a statement here, but women's 115, I can't rely on trying to get like a plus 100 prop on a finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder who's betting her, because obviously the line's that wide for a reason. Like, either they have no volume on this bet or someone laid it big and they keep laying it. Like, I don't see anyone parlaying her out there, right?
I mean, they might be. I mean, like we said, there's a bunch of like Raul Rosas Jr. is a minus 800. We'll talk about him later. Lupi's a minus 450. Like, I bet it's just people parlaying all of these together, trying to get even money somehow.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, did people not learn the lesson last time with Adesanya doing that? I've kind of evolved past that myself. Like, I don't do that as much anymore. I'm glad I don't. But just passing on this one, 2 cents is 2 cents is as well, definitely passing. And 138 MMA has to throw on the women's variants here. Just a few bucks at plus 550. I mean, look, crazier things have happened. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, of all the favorites, this is what I've been doing when I've been breaking on this card, Effie, is just like, which of these favorites is going to do it? Which one's going to break our hearts on this card?
Yeah,
I don't think it's this one.
We have to dodge a landmine somehow. Like, someone's going to do it. Someone's going to lose and look like crap. Like, it has to happen, right? Like,
that's actually the fun part about having all of these like minus a million favorites here, is which one's going to do it. Maybe it's the next fight at lightweight. We do have another sort of battle of debuting fighters, right? Charlie Campbell is debuting, but his opponent Alex Reyes is making his second walk to the cage. But come Saturday, it will be 6 years to the day since we've seen Alex Reyes fight back in September of 2017. We saw Mike Perry knock him out in round 1 by a vicious clinch knee. And since then, it's been a lot of outside of the cage injuries and health problems for Alex Reyes. He did have some sort of like a bone infection in his spine. He was getting stem cells for probably some other injury and picked up that bedside infection. He was bedridden for a long time, and he has not come back to the UFC or even fought anywhere else in that time. So this is a really weird spot where we've got a guy who was 30 the last time we saw him lose in his debut. He's now 36 years old as Alex Reyes coming back, fighting a very dangerous guy in Charlie Campbell, who was doing pretty well in the Contender Series last year and then got knocked out by a vicious right cross counter from who was that now? Was that Duncan? Duncan did it to him, right?
Yeah, Duncan.
Yeah, Chris Duncan. So a guy who was on wobbly legs, on ice skates, about to be put away by one more strike if Campbell could have gotten it done, but he rushed in and got knocked out himself cold. It was a pretty cool 2-minute war they had in the Contender Series. Campbell's gone back to CFFC. He's gotten a nice round one knockout himself. Now he makes his debut. So I think he gets another round one knockout here against Alex Reyes. But, man, do you think Alex Reyes could have been developing his skill set in these past 6 years and comes through and shocks us here, Effie?
I'll be shocked, man. I no. Answer is no. Charlie Campbell knockout. It depends on the round 1 or 2. I think it comes in round 1. I mean, 6 years, man. I don't even think I've seen that long of a layoff, man. It's one thing to I can't think of any sport you could take 6 years off of and come and try back and then try to expect success. And then one where you're taking physical damage, man. You're taking brain damage here. He's a super, submission or bust type fighter here in this fight. But Charlie Campbell, I will say, for how he was rocking Chris Duncan in that last fight, and then he got 2 fights ago and got slept. He actually was rocking Dos Santos on the regional scene. That almost happened to him again. That's happened to him before, where he's going in for a finish and he gets clipped on the guy throwing back. But I think he knocks him out bad in this fight. Dude, 6 years. It's hard to tell. There's not enough, tape or anything. But minus 400 for Campbell. I'd rather just take the knockout prop.
Right. I put a half a unit on Campbell by knockout at minus 175. I think that price is still out there on Bovada, but on BetOnline it's now moved to minus 200. I just think it's a knockout here. Alex Reyes has got very poor striking defense. 6 years ago, he had poor striking defense. I'm not sure it's gotten any better. And when you see these guys come back after long layoffs, they either try to get the job done really fast in round 1 and are kind of aggressive, or they're super tentative and gun shy. Either way, I think Campbell's going to march him down and force some action. But like you said, Alex Reyes, BJJ black belt, that's his best skill. He usually waits for his opponents to come in range. He'll skirt on the outside of the cage. He'll look to counter strike one at a time and then level change. And he's got a pretty nice arm triangle choke he's gotten a couple people with, but not really high level competition even back in 2015, 16, and 17, so. And even some of these lower level guys are putting mitts on his chin.
And the way he entered his takedowns too, I was watching him fight, and Mayhem Miller was calling one of his fights, so I thought that was sick. But he was fighting low level competition for sure before the UFC, before that Mike Perry fight. And I know he's a Drysdale black belt here in Vegas, which is actually kind of close by my house where that gym is. So that's good. I know he has some good jiu-jitsu, but one thing I like about Campbell is that him, like Jack Della Maddalena, they have good uppercuts that get through their opponent's guards. Charlie Campbell has a really nice uppercut. So if at one point Alex Reyes is covering up, shelling up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Charlie get him with one.
And it's like one of those MMA uppercuts too. It's not like a boxing one where the uppercut's right in front of your nose, like an inch away from your face. His loops up, but further than you think it's going to go and goes right underneath your guard. So I could see him hitting him with that. Our boy Chris Duncan on the Contender Series ate a bunch of those when he was getting knocked out, and then managed to go on autopilot and throw that right cross. So yeah, I think this is a spot for Campbell. He's going to be like 9 years younger in this spot too. He's only got a 7-2 record, but he's 28 years old compared to Alex Reyes.
When they intro the tail of the tape when they fight, they should put a red flag next to his name. Just like, hey, this is a huge red flag. His age, the layoff.
Being a Reyes at this point in time, being Dominic Reyes' brother, that's a red flag in itself, right? Like that's just, you got chinny genes at this point.
It'd be funny if he has a better chin now than Dom Reyes does.
It probably does. That's probably what he thought. They were probably play fighting or sparring or something, and he probably says, I still got it. No, actually, I think the story went he was cornering Bobby Green for a fight within the past couple of years, and thought that just the energy of being near the octagon, he's like, I still got it. I can come back from this. I can go back from this long layoff. My record's still 13-3. I still got it. Let's go. But we got a few people strolling into the chat. We got good wisdom from 2 cents saying losses will happen. Minimizing the embarrassing ones is key. Yeah, that's that should be on a poster somewhere in my house for sure. We got Rogue Strummer saying, "Yo, let's fucking go." Saying what's up to 2 cents. My guy Jay, aka Border Rage, saying what's up, boys? Good to see you, Border Rage, and Zach Johnson in the house too. What's up, Zach? How you doing, man? Shady as well, man. We got all the hard hitters in the chat, dude. This is a smart chat. We can't help but make money, make some good decisions, and not some embarrassing ones this week. So We can move on. Yeah, the 6-year layoff is wild, man. I saw my guy
Crazy.
Dan Levy post on Twitter, like asking people what the longest layoff they can think of was, and somebody posted up the Nick Diaz one from like January 2015 all the way to fighting Robbie Lawler in 2021. So that was a little over 6 years. I remember when I posted up just as a joke, it's 2 UFC fighters, but Chuck Liddell came back from like 2009 and then went and fought Tito the third time in that horribly sanctioned match where he got slept by Tito in Golden Boy Promotions. That was just a terrible idea. But that was the longest one I could really think of between UFC fighters.
Diaz looked horrible too against Lawler, dude. I max bet Lawler on that day, dude.
Yeah, they made a lot of money off that. That was bad.
He looked like and then he was like, "I got blackmailed. I don't know why I'm fighting." Everyone was like, "What?"
That was terrible, dude. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, for sure. But that actually made me sweat. He was holding his own a little bit there just by standing up and not getting slept.
I was like, yeah, same. I was like, why isn't that over already?
Yeah, it was making me a little bit nervous there. But we can move on to closely lined fight. Finally, we've got one that was sort of a pick'em price tag. Now we've got minus 125 on Tracy Cortez, plus 105 on Jasmine Jasudavicius, a battle between two female flyweight wrestlers. Lifelong wrestler for Tracy Cortez, 10-1 professional record. Not been the most active lately. In fact, it's been like, a year and a half since we've seen her. She took on Melissa Gatto in May of last year. She takes on Jasmine Jasudavicius, the Canadian wrestler who's been a lot more active and actually been kind of coming through as an underdog. She got that nice underdog victory over Miranda Maverick. She beat Gabriela Fernandez in a closely lined fight back in February as well. And yeah, the only loss that she's had out of her last 6 was against Natalia Silva, and we can kind of forgive that one. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you kick this one off, too. The odds are close. Which one of these girls do you think is going to get the better of the control time in this spot, or do you think it's going to nullify itself and just be a striking fight?
The latter. I'm actually really excited for this fight. It's tough because it's hard for me to really imagine either one having a grappling advantage over the other. I really respect both their wrestling and grappling. I do think that Tracy does have the positional awareness in the jiu-jitsu areas a little better than Jasmine. She's going to be way younger in this fight, but the size actually might play a big factor here in that grappling, man. It depends on how Tracy can get in on her hips, on Jasmine's hips. But on the feet, man, being that much bigger, it does worry me here for Tracy. Like, Jasmine's going to be the bigger fighter here. But Tracy has a nice jab. I'm going with Tracy in this fight. I'm actually really excited for this fight. I want to see who has the grappling edge, who, can win those exchanges, who gets it there. But Tracy's inactivity, like you said, that's kind of concerning to me. And I don't want to call her a head case, but I don't know what the reason was that she pulled out against that Ribas fight. I think that was like either on fight day or fight week. It was super late. So it's kind of like, I'm wondering where she's at in her head, but she's a younger fighter. I like her wrestling. She does have good grappling. But yeah, man, I'm going with Tracy Cortez. Should be a very close fight. Yeah, like the comment just said right there. I'm going with Cortez decision.
Dude, it's like every other comment in the chat is like switching sides in this one. This is why the line is super close. We got Shady with just shouting out Cortez. I don't know if he's bet on her, but we got Mushroom with Jasmine, 2 cents with Cortez, Sean V with Jazzy, Zach Johnson with Cortez, Shady on the Canadian. I mean, it's just craziness. But I am actually in agreement with you on this one. I'm on the Tracy Cortez side. This is a bet I made at minus 115. Just 1 unit, so I didn't go crazy with it. And for all the reasons that you mentioned, the outside of the cage things is what worries me more than the inside of the cage things for Cortez. The lack of activity, fighting like once a year for the past few years, right? She fought Vanessa Mello in 2019, didn't fight until 2020 with Stephanie Egger, Justine Kish in 2021, missed weight, Melissa Gatto in 2022, and now it's 2023. So she's at this like 1 fight a year pace, canceled bouts in between. I don't like to see that, but she hasn't lost since her first fight as a pro. So the results are there. The athleticism is there. I think she's the faster woman, the more athletic woman. And I think rounds 1 and rounds 2, I think she's going to be a better striker as well. She got a nice snappy 1-2, a nice lead left hook as well. And like you mentioned, the top pressure is really strong. She's got good hips, good positional awareness, and the BJJ to keep the fight where she wants to. Jasmine is doing pretty well, but again, it's against some non-wrestlers, and she's usually capitalizing on mistakes and ending up on top more than forcing the issue. What I like from Tracy is she'll finish a combo that she lands, like a nice snappy 1-2. She'll go into the 1-2, land that cross on their chin, and then go right into the takedown, grab their leg and drive through. You know, I like that she mixes the two very well. I think she's a lot faster than Jasmine. It's just, I don't know if she misses weight, if she pulls one of these stunts where like her head's not in the game, if she's trying to fight on some sort of injury, you know, like last time she had a medical concern. All of this outside the cage stuff is what's clouding my vision on her. But I think inside the cage, I think she gets it done. What do you think about the cardio of these two fighters? I've seen Jasmine finish strong in round 3 in a lot of spots lately, and Tracy sometimes doesn't quite do that.
Yeah, I actually think the speed on her exchanges, I think, is going to fade here in the 3rd round. But like you said, I think she should win the first 2. So yeah, I'd give the cardio to the Canadian. But dude, she has a negative striking differential. She's getting hit more than she's landing. Her striking defense isn't that good, and Tracy has a nice one too. Like you said, I like her jab and I like her footwork, dude. Should be a good fight. I'm super interested to see the clinch and the grappling. I wonder when they get into the cage and the warning track when they're clinching, who's going to be able to turn each other. But I think that Tracy's going to be able to get those trips, man. I'm going with Tracy.
Yeah, it might be one of those spots. You might be right it might just be a striking battle more than not. But that's the biggest question, though, is like, are they going to go back and forth in the grappling? Is one person going to end up on top? And that's just where the fight remains for the rest of the round until the ref stands it up. There's going to be a lot of questions here, you know, and it's mostly on the Cortez side, I think. You know, you're getting more data on Jasmine because you've seen her fight, but I think Tracy Cortez, more of a wild card, but I just think she's got more potential here. So a little bit younger as well by 4 or 5 years. She's 29 years old still, 34 for Jasmine Jasudavicius. Yeah. So both girls still in their prime, you know, Jasmine towards the end of it, but she's been looking okay. And she kind of has that advantage where sometimes you see fighters that start the sport late kind of have like an extended career, right? Like she didn't actually start combat sports as a kid or an adolescent. She didn't start until she was like in her early 20s. So maybe she does have like a little bit of extra miles still on her body, you know, not nursing injuries like Tracy Cortez might be. So we'll find out on Saturday, man. I don't fault anybody for taking, especially the plus money side of this close fight. So we'll see. I can't wait for that one though. It's I'm glad that that's early up on the prelims. I think that's why it is the 3rd fight of the night. They want us to watch the prelims, and that's why they sprinkle these good fights sometimes, like early in the card. They want to make sure everybody's tuned in.
That kind of surprised me. I was like, dang, Tracy's low. All right, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's why they do that, because they always put like one fight where like, why is this so early? I think they actually want you to tune in and watch the whole card. So they sprinkle some good ones early on in the night. But we got my guy MMA Jesus in the house, man, shouting out Mushroom. Dude, MMA Jesus, the only guy in the world on Sean Strickland. We called him crazy. I didn't call him crazy. I thought that he was on the right side of the money line, but I didn't think it was going to happen, dude. MMA Jesus was calling Sean Strickland all week long. Nobody believed him. You guys better start putting some respect to my boy Dev, the dude's name, dude.
Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah, dude. I might be with you, Dylan Lumen. I might be with you here. We'll talk about that fight. I think you're on the right path there. There's going to be some of these underdogs coming through. And we'll talk about this one too, Zach Johnson. I'm glad people have some strong takes in this card. Glad they're excited for UFC nachos, UFC Noche. Can't wait for it, man. I'm gonna have to eat some Mexican food that night, Effie. You know, I'm not a big Mexican food eater myself because there's like so many sides and there's not enough meat on Mexican food. It's not really my style.
I'm getting tacos after this stream. It's funny you say that.
Yeah, man, I have to get a platter of nachos, some authentic Mexican tacos, and watch the money roll in come Saturday night. But we can move on to a battle between two flyweights once again, this time in the men's division. We got Edgar Chairez taking on the very exciting Brazilian Daniel Lacerda, a.k.a. Daniel da Silva. Lacerda is on his 5th walk to the cage now. He's not won a fight in the UFC yet. This guy's on a 4-fight losing streak, getting finished in all of those bouts. Edgar Chairez, he made his debut against Tatsuro Taira earlier this year, and he lost a bout, but by decision in a bout where many people thought that Taira was going to, get the submission or the finish inside the distance. He managed to kind of get that notch on his belt and go to the full 15 minutes with Tatsuro Taira as a big underdog there, even dropping Taira early in the fight and jumping on a guillotine, a pretty tight one that was locked in. So this guy does have skills. We saw Chairez on the Contender Series last year against Clayton Carpenter, who's another young prospect, and he won the first round against Clayton Carpenter. You know, he has pretty sharp striking, not bad counters. He's pretty durable. This guy's never been finished by knockout before out of his 15 fights, and his cardio seems to last pretty okay through 15 minutes. So, I mean, do you believe that Daniel Lacerda at this point, a guy who in 15 fights, 11-5 record, Effie, this guy's never seen the scorecards before. He's never seen a round 3 before, and he's only seen round 2 3 times. Do you think this guy now will learn how to pace himself, you know, have like an extended, you know, measured effort in round 1, mind his P's and Q's and go like a full, you know, score triple-digit significant strikes over 15 minutes, score a decision win? I mean, do you think this guy has reinvented himself in his second contract in the UFC?
I mean, it sounds funny just to even say out loud with and then associating that with Lacerda here, but I gotta ask myself, dude, at some point, you gotta be tired of making only half your money, dude. Like, unless we're getting fight of the night, you know, bonuses here,
right?
Like, we need some money, dude. Like, we need to win these fights. So yeah, man, the shooter box guys are definitely going to be telling this guy, you know, pace yourself more. But that's not how he fights, man. They've probably been telling him that his whole career. So, Chairez, dude, one of my favorite fighters ever. Vatos Locos for life. You see him on the scale, man. That was so funny, dude. I couldn't believe he did that when he made weight. But yeah, but he looked good against Carpenter, man. Carpenter's a good fighter, in my opinion, and he was piecing him up in that first round. He's a good striker, good defensive submissions off his back. He's been subbed a few times, but he's got that Mexican chin. Should be durable enough to withstand that first tidal wave in that first round from Lacerda here, and then, you know, probably pull away as the fight goes. But if not, get him in the later that first round. I'm going with Chairez, but this is probably that first wide favorite at minus 250. Where I'm like, oh man, I'm having my doubts here. Like, this is a little worrisome. I'm not max betting, and, you know, Chairez here by any means. So it's a dogger pass actually for me betting wise. But my pick is Chairez, but I wouldn't be betting him at minus 250.
Yeah, we got Zach Johnson on Lacerda, calling him the best dog of the card. He's been at shoot to box the past few camps. Yeah, we could tell based on his bleach blonde facial hair and scalp the past couple times. The guy's good, man. He's had like so many spots where you can't even blame him for emptying the gas tank in round 1, right? Like, he's had people knocked down. In his last fight against CJ Vergara, he hit him with a clean spinning wheel kick, landed perfectly on the chin, knocked down CJ Vergara, followed up with punches, hit a second spinning wheel kick, knocked him down again. You know, I mean, that's a spot where you can like say this is not a fight IQ mistake. Like, he almost had that fight won.
Yeah,
I believe it was it Mark Goddard was the guy who gave CJ Vergara like a million chances to win. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect anything new from Daniel Lacerda. I think he will have cardio issues should this go past round 1. But where I could see Mushroom being on the right path here with the over 1.5, this could definitely hit. It will be a sweat, but Edgar's not like a guy to force a war. You know, he's not like a CJ Vergara where he's going to be pressing the action at all times. He's more of a defensive guy, kind of one at a time striking, and waits for the fight to be brought to him. So we might see a slower round 1, and this could stretch out. But I think either way, we're going to see the shoot-to-box style. Daniel Lacerda going in there, shooting front kicks to the body, flying knees, trying to make anything happen in round 1 and probably wear himself out there. So if this goes past round 1, I think Edgar is going to take over this fight and probably win in round 2. So I like the fight doesn't start round 3. I like Edgar in round 2, round 3. But I don't think I'm going to ever get to any of those bets unless FanDuel or somebody like that drops a nice fight doesn't start round 3 prop at a decent number. You know, anything less than minus 250, maybe I would put a fraction of a unit on that just to win a little bit, because I think it's almost a lock at this point. Like I said, we're not seeing Daniel Da Silva go past round 1 very often, 3 times out of 15 appearances, and never been to round 3 before. So at this point, he's like on that like Terrence McKinney level of we just know what's in his DNA, right? We just know that this guy's on a timer and it's not going to change.
It's not like he's bad though. Like you said, like it's not like he's a bad fighter. It's just the way he fights. Like,
yeah, switches stances pretty well. Can hit a nice clean long 1-2 out of both stances. Kicks are nice. Trains with a good team. But you're seeing a guy in Edgar Chairez who's the complete opposite, right? He's had 5-round experience before. He's finished fights in round 4, round 3. You know, this guy's got a pretty good extended gas tank. So I'd take him to win. Just hard to back Daniel Da Silva. But I will say that round 1, definitely the spot where Da Silva could put shoot to box on the map on this UFC Noche card, man. We got Mann now plus 450. That's great dog money. Dude, it certainly is. I just don't know how she wins that fight. But you know what? MMA Jesus, I didn't know how Sean Strickland would win the fight either. So you got yourself a point. Kiwi saying, I can't back a man who lost to Bad Figgy. Yeah, getting a round one knee barred by Bad Figgy. Did Lacerda. Not very good. Not very good.
That's bad, yeah.
Asking myself why he's getting another fight. I don't know. He's super fun to watch, and he's with a good team. You know, maybe this is Charles Oliveira calling in another favor. This is like a blood diamond tier favor. I don't know. But he's super exciting to watch, and I think he's got true talent. So it's just, dude, you're a flyweight, 125, and you can't go 1.5 rounds. Like, you know what I mean? Like we kind of clown heavyweights for not being able to go 1.5 rounds. You know, much less a flyweight.
He's the Braxton Smith of flyweights.
Honestly, man, what is up, Michael Lacerda? I don't know what does that mean. Is he talking to mushrooms, saying "truly kill or be killed"? That's what it is.
It's all killed so far, though.
It's all killed, 0-4, but we're on the same side of that one. Both on Chairez here. Any bets so far, Effie, or no?
No, nothing so far, but I have money on the next fight.
All right, let's get into it, man. Middleweight bout between Roman Kopylov and Josh Fremd. Pretty fun fight between two pretty big for the weight class middleweights. Roman Kopylov is like 6'1", 6'2" with the long reach. Josh Fremd, the American here, he's what, like 6'4", I want to say, 6'4" with a 76-inch reach. Both guys are, pretty much in their prime right now. 32 for Roman Kopylov, the Russian combat sambo striker on a 3-fight finish streak. And Josh Fremd is on a 2-fight win streak, coming off of the weight miss against Jamie Pickett just 1 month ago, where a lot of people criticized his performance, man. What did you think about Jamie Pickett and Josh Fremd? Were you impressed with Josh Fremd there?
No, man, definitely not, especially with the line that he had, the money on him. He struggled in the grappling the area that I thought he was going to have a huge advantage, and he got his back taken at one point. If Pickett knew how to put those hooks in, he would have been in a really bad spot. So that fight was a close fight against someone that I think is way lower tier of an MMA fighter than Roman Kopylov. So, yeah, man, I don't think this is a good matchup for Fremd at all.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. And I'm a self-proclaimed Roman Kopylov denier, dude. I've denied this guy in pretty much every fight he's been in, and I've been wrong 3 times in a row now. I kept on judging him for his first couple performances, especially that Albert Duraev one. You know, it was just such a sloppy affair. I could never get that out of my mind. But the guy has undeniably improved. 11-2 record so far. I mean, this guy has got some clean striking, and not only clean striking, but at middleweight in some wars. He's gotten late stoppages too. Alessio Di Chirico put on amazing combinations with those punches in round 3, knocked him out cold. Punahele Soriano weathered that early storm, put mitts on him in round 2 at the end of it. And Claudio Ribeiro, he got rocked in round 1, showed some toughness, stayed in the fight, some resolve, and then got the job done with that nice head kick in round 2. So I like Roman Kopylov in this spot. I don't know if I can justify him being such a big favorite, though, at minus 355 on BetOnline right now, plus 280 for Josh Fremd. Is there a world where Josh Fremd can employ some good striking defense early, maybe take this fight to the mat? I was pretty impressed with Josh Fremd's grappling in a few spots so far.
Yeah, I think the only thing that, because I have Kopylov in a parlay. Yeah. Only thing that worries me here is if Fremd can withstand those first 2 rounds and Kopylov's cardio fails him, allowing those takedowns to become way easier for the big Fremd. Fremd's big. So, like, getting those takedowns, in theory, should be a little easier. Kopylov did look better in that area against Puna. But, yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about here is in that 3rd round, if Kopylov's not the fresher fighter, if he's fading here, that grappling could come into play here from Fremd. But, dude, I had money on Fremd against Tresean Gore, and he almost died, dude. That guillotine helicopter choke thing, I was, like, watching that. I was like, dude, is he going to snap his neck right now? We're about to see someone die in the UFC. I have money on him. So I was like, all right, well, I've been on this dude again. And then he almost loses to Jamie Pickett. But, dude, I was at Roman Kopylov's last fight, and when that head kick landed, man, like, I was pretty high up, and that sounded like someone right next to me got hit with a baseball bat. It was so loud, dude. Like, it was pretty scary. I was just like, oh, my goodness. And he looked fast, man. He looked good. He did get rocked in that first round. But, yeah, man, I'm going with this dude. I think there's a huge speed disadvantage on the feet here for Fremd. I think Kopylov is way more technical and clean, has better footwork, and probably does finish Fremd here in that 2nd round. He's part of our parlay. And I think you're going to laugh when I tell you the second leg. But, yeah, man, I got Kopylov parlayed here.
I can't wait for it, man. Yeah, I'm with Zach Johnson. I'm with you. I think Roman Kopylov wins, and I think it is in the striking at any point in this fight. Honestly, like the striking defense from Fremd is not great. His reaction time isn't great, and he's a guy who offensively, I like his skills offensively for sure. I think he's better offensively with his grappling than he is defensively with it. I think he's better with his striking offensively than he's defensively. Right? He's only been knocked out one time by the great Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez.
Yeah.
In LFA. And before that, though, he had 3 round 1 stoppages in the LFA. Heavy hands on this guy. But yeah, I mean, this guy can't stop punches from hitting his chin. Even Jamie Pickett was having some moments of success, but it was mostly the Jamie Pickett like clinch bullying, which is what that guy is good at. So yeah, flat performance from Josh Fremd. Not to mention that was only a month ago, right? So not giving himself a lot of time to come back and make adjustments and recover and deal with whatever led to that weight miss, right? We're popping right back around, and I think it's against a much tougher opponent. So, yeah, Roman Kopylov, if you got in on that early number, too, I don't mind it. Like, he was like a minus 250, minus 275. Yeah. Now he's skyrocketed up to this minus 355 and beyond on some books. So, good luck. I probably won't be on this bet unless I look at, like, Kopylov round 2, round 3. Maybe I'll look at those props, but still waiting on some books to drop those. We can move along to a pretty easy fight to break down, I think. We'll see. Maybe this is the second leg of the parlay. Maybe you've got Elise Reed parlayed with Roman Kopylov. She takes on Lupita Godinez, women's strawweight bout at 115 here. I think it's a big step down in competition for Lupita Godinez. You've got a girl in Godinez who's proven to be pretty competitive as a striker, really known for her wrestling, though, as the clearest way to win her fights, should she choose to use it or not. Elise Reed, a Taekwondo background, and that's really where her striking ends. She does have some heavy hands. She's been trading wins or losses, just squeaking by some victories here in the UFC. But at the end of the day, I mean, her takedown defense and get-up game is pretty non-existent. So, how do you – I think the question is, I'm going to assume you're with the Godinez side, but do you think she gets the job done inside the distance?
Yeah, I think she finishes her on the mat here for once. I think well, not for once, but I think she does use that fight IQ a little better here and go for the wrestling here. But yeah, man, I'm going with Lupita here. I parlayed Lupita Godinez with Kopylov, dude. That's something that I have done. It's done. I think that she out wrestles here, man. Reed can't be getting out grappled by Loma Luke Bimi, and Sam Hughes. So I will say I like Elise Reed striking enough to where if she does mark up Lupita will have to respect her striking, man. Reed is not a bad striker. So that would hopefully force the wrestling out of Lupita, which will then lead to an easier fight, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go with Lupita. These are actually new glasses, man. I brought new glasses for this episode.
Oh my god. My guy Michael was asking about what's the deal with the sunglasses, how's the light still in his eyes, and Tyler's he told your deepest darkest secret, man. This is available in the Any Action Sportscast autobiography. He must have picked up a copy of that one. That killed me. I didn't expect a full biography on the laser beam eye condition. That was amazing. But I think you're totally right on this fight. But I don't know if I can trust. Like, what are the props on Lupita Godinez to finish this fight? Do you have a number on that?
Inside the distance? No, I don't. Let
me look it up real fast. I know BetOnline's going to have really crappy numbers on this, but it's just, I want to say like plus 300 by sub, even plus 200 by sub. Good Lord.
Damn. I mean, Loma Lubumi is, for one, a Muay Thai fighter, but two is small. Like, she is small for her weight class. Yeah. And to see her do what she did, I'm like, whoa, man, like, come on.
Plus 135 inside the distance for Lupita Godinez on BetOnline. I bet some other books will have some better numbers on that, but yeah, it's probably just be a stay away for me unless I put it like in some sort of small money round robin where I've got like a bunch of props I like. I think she's got a really good chance to get it done. But what if she chooses to strike? I think Lupi could get it done with the striking too. So if she has success in the striking in round 1, doesn't even need to force the issue with the takedown. We could just see her cruise to a decision here and just beat up Elise Reed. So I think she gets it done however she wants to, hence the money line being minus 440 for Lupi. But I don't think that she's going to pull a stunt. Like, I know people are always concerned about what happened at UFC San Diego, like a year and a half ago, right, when she dropped the ball against. But it's Angela Hill. Angela Hill's a really experienced fighter, and she was really active with the striking and flashing that knee, always making it look like she's going to get punished if she goes for the judo throw or the takedown. So I think Elise Reed does not have that kind of know-how here. She's got some heavy hands. She's got a really powerful right cross, too, and some nice kicks. But other than that, I think Lupita Godinez is going to show off for Noche UFC, keep the Mexican pride alive, and cash this leg of whoever's parlaying her up here. So I think she gets it done. Just not a lot of meat on the bone for the props in this fight, So nothing that the bookies don't already see coming. But we can keep moving along here. We can go to Daz Files in the house. What is up, Daz? Saying hope Loopy finishes her. Don't love her cardio. Yeah, I mean she throws a lot of like really big exertions into everything, and it's not leaving a lot for the rest of the fight. But I think she should be good here, man. I don't think she's going to face much resistance with Elise Reed, So even if she ends up wrestling, like she's not going to have to spend too much energy holding her down, right? I mean,
she'll be able to pass. So. She's going to be able to pass easy,
right.
On her guard.
So, we can move on to this. Is an interesting fight, though. Another Mexican versus Canadian fight here. We've got Fernando Padilla taking on Kyle Nelson at featherweight. Fernando Padilla, a sizable favorite here, minus 240 to minus 250 as the favorite. Kyle Nelson, a UFC veteran of several fights at this point, very experienced guy, plus 205 the underdog. And this is one of the spots, Effie, where I think I'm liking the underdog here, just out of like the selection of ones that could come through on this card, because he's been looking better. He's been looking like more of an improved fighter than we kind of gave him credit for when he fought at lightweight against some guys that got finished. Billy Q comes to mind. Carlos Diego de Fajeda comes to mind. But Kyle Nelson's a decent grappler, and his striking, counter-striking is actually not that high output, but it's pretty precise, as we saw against Blake Builder last time. Came through as a decently sized underdog that night and was just sniping off Blake Builder as he entered range, rocked him a couple of times, and got some control time in the wrestling as well. So, I could see that happening against Fernando Padilla, who seems to be like kind of a front-loaded fighter with his efforts so far. I mean, he's a pretty dangerous guy. I'd say the more dangerous fighter is Padilla. The younger, potentially more improving fighter is Padilla. But defensively, the guy leaves a lot of holes in his game that I think if we see that version of Kyle Nelson we saw against Blake Builder, he could snipe him off and kind of inflict a lot of damage, win round one, and then continue to use his cardio and experience to win the rest of the fight as well. So Kyle Nelson by decision is plus 500. I don't even mind a stab on that, but the money line would be good enough at plus 205 where you're getting it now. I think that's a spot where this could be a guy who spoils the Mexican fun that everybody seems to be having come Saturday night. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Kyle Nelson, with that wrestling and grappling, he just has like a huge experience gap here, and that line is kind of wide for someone that to me is really inactive. Padilla, he does have that size advantage, and he does have those heavy hands, good striker, and good jiu-jitsu, honestly, as well. And it's really a finisher here, so it's tough for me to see Nelson not getting finished here. It sucks because also Nelson doesn't have a lot of output. Like you said, he's more of a counter striker, and that's not the best look. And I honestly thought he should have lost that fight that was a draw against Choi. It wasn't for the point deduction, he would have been on a 3-fight losing streak before they built their fight. So I'm going to go with Padilla here. I think he gets a finish. I think he knocks out Kyle Nelson. I know he knocked out Julian Rosa here, but Rosa gets knocked out by everybody. But he looked good. I mean, he was throwing a lot of output. Technique looked good. Good hands. So, yeah, man, give me Padilla. And we're going head-to-head here. Give me the Mexican. That line is a little bit wide, but I do think he comes through here inside the distance. I'm going to go knockout.
Yeah, I got 2 cents on Padilla. I can't wait to listen to the Aaron the Dog, Just My 2 Cents, Jay Better, Lou Bettia podcast. I think they did that today around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. I got to run that back. I was coming home from work a little bit late, and I couldn't catch it. But I know that's a pro Fernando Padilla podcast, so I can't wait to hear their thoughts on it. Dude, I like Padilla. I really do. He seems to be this creative, aggressive young striker. I think he had some visa issues for a while that kept him out of the cage and kind of prolonged his entrance to the UFC. But it's just a matter of the money line, right? This is kind of, I'm letting it do the math for me. I see a step up in competition for this young kid, and I see a lot of holes in this game defensively. I think Kyle Nelson has the potential to exploit here at his money line. I think he wins this fight more than plus 205 indicates, more than 30% of the time, roughly, right? So kind of letting the math do the work for me here. This is a fight night with a lot of big favorites coming through. I don't have many dogs. I think this is one of the dogs I could be confident in, could pull it off. Am I going to put my money behind Kyle Nelson? Probably not, but I do find paths for him to win this fight down the stretch. Padilla still has a lot of question marks in this game. Hopefully he's the real deal. He seems like a fun personality. Looks like he's got a lot of skills, almost similar to like a young version of who am I thinking of? Yair Rodriguez with those kicks and the long strikes, the creativity, big for his weight class at like 6'1". So
yeah,
I like him here. I think you're on a good side, Effie, but I'll pick the dog just for pick's sake in this one. But we can move along to kind of a similar fight as far as the dynamic goes. You know, a young Mexican talent in Daniel Zellhuber. He takes on Christos Giagos, who is a veteran of the UFC of like 12 fights, a grappler by trade, mostly like a wrestle boxer. But, dude, a lot of holes in the game of Giagos here. I think Zellhuber is the side. But is he worth the minus 260 favorite price tag for Zellhuber here? Do you think this is too big of a step up, or do you think he's worth that price tag, Effie?
I mean, it's tough. Minus 250. I agree. I think he's justified here. I think he finishes Giagos. I think he gets him out of there. That Trey Ogden fight, I mean, he's going to have to live with that forever. Everyone's going to hold that against him. You know how we were talking about that Angela Hill fight for Loopy? Yeah. That's going to be his Trey Ogden fight. The Trey Ogden fight, he didn't do anything. He just didn't do anything. He stared at him, didn't throw anything back. I was struck by a guy that had a good striking fight with Jordan Levitt. Like, that's crazy. But dude, he should be the truth. He should be. He should be. You know, the more finisher or the fighter that's going to be getting the finish here. I think he will get the fight inside the distance here. Giagos, the only thing I'm worried about here is taking the back of Zellhuber somehow or another, getting that back, whether it be a takedown along the fence, you know, getting a trip or something. But I don't think so. I think Zellhuber is going to be able to stand. I think Christian's going to look good in that first round, and then Daniel probably pours on him here, second or third round. But it is tough. That Trey Ogden fight is just so recent, and it's such a bad look. But yeah, that's why I feel like a lot of people are clutching that wide money line. But I'll go with Zellhuber here inside the distance. I'm going to go knockout round 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only thing I disagree on is I think you're right. It could happen in round 1, but I'm going to call it round 2, round 3. I might even look for the best number I can find on those round methods, right? Giagos is a guy who consistently has trouble with his gas tank, especially in the end of round 2, after that 1.5 round mark and into round 3. The guy just does not have a good gas tank. And then he starts desperately looking for takedowns. I could see a neck snatched up, a nice guillotine or front choke from Zellhuber. I could see him just getting knocked out with Zellhuber sprawling and brawling. You know, he's a much longer, lankier, younger guy at only like 24, 25 years old, I think. 24 for the golden boy, Daniel Zellhuber. Only one professional loss, and it is that loss against Trey Ogden in his debut about a year ago. So I think if we look past that one, he's with Extreme Couture now. If the Lando Venato fight is any indication of this guy is not the guy that we saw against Trey Ogden, I think that's a good one. He almost finished the fight in round 1. The Lucas Almeida fight, super high striking output fight, good clinch work on the Contender Series. I like everything about this guy's game. He looks like he's got a lot of potential. Now, it's just like you mentioned, Christos Giagos is a guy who can consistently get takedowns and get control time. He's super strong in round 1. And I think at a pretty high clip, Giagos could win round 1 and bully Zellhuber and get all that control time. But when it comes to round 2, he starts fading. And I know we haven't really seen that happen to him in a little bit because he's been losing, either winning or losing in round 1. I know we had to face Thiago Moises, who jumped on his back and subbed him in a couple minutes. Faced Arman Sarukian, who he actually reversed the takedown of Sarukian, ended up on top. And once Sarukian got back to his feet, he just like left hooked him into oblivion. But if we go back to like some of the earlier fights in the career of Christos Giagos, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Let's see if we can find one. The fight against Carlton Minus is a good one where he won the fight, 3-round decision, but his worst round output wise, he almost sold it in round 3 against a guy as bad as Carlton Minus. Even going back to the Mizuto Hirota fight back in 2018, you're looking at a guy who landed like a million takedowns in Giagos in round 1 and round 2, dominated the fight, and gassed out so badly he almost lost the fight by knockout in round 3 against the guy who's was like 37, 38 years old in Hirota at the time. So yeah, there's just a lot of spots where if you see these fights get extended to 3 rounds, Giagos has fallen off a cliff and pretty much just there for the taking. So I think Zellhuber can finish this fight inside the distance here. I like that prop for him, and I think honestly, for the money line, I don't think it's that bad of a price, minus 260. We just got to get past that first round, Effie, and we'll be home free.
I think he gets it done, man. I think he comes through.
And we got Zach Johnson summing up what we said in 4 minutes with 2 words here. Giagos sucks. I don't hate it. That's a good that's a good one here. Giagos via KO. That's an interesting look. My problem with that is like Zellhuber would have to be so close to him because Giagos throws nothing but left hook, right hook, looping punches like that. Big over. He's the most wrestle boxer type of fighter ever. There's nothing straight. It's just those big jacked, looping strikes that don't really go that far. So yeah, who knows?
5-inch reach advantage over him. It's going to be hard to get in.
And I'm a guy who I called Giagos to win his last fight, but it was against Ricky Glenn.
Glenn.
Ricky Glenn is like a 75-year-old in a 37-year-old's body, So
I thought he was going to be able to withstand against Moises, but getting finished. I mean, it's not like he's bad, but
no.
It's
was there even a punch thrown in the Moises fight? I feel like Moises just bum rushed him and jumped out.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, 2 cents summing it up. Chris, this is a 1-round fighter, but he's dangerous in that 1 round. Yep. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get caught with his pants down. That would be embarrassing, but I think he's going to come through with that Mexican warrior spirit and show off in front of the it feels like it's a hometown crowd, but it is in Las Vegas, your neck of the woods, Effie, so I guess it is sort of the hometown crowd. They've got you, the honorary Mexican in the crowd, hopefully.
There's a lot of Mexicans out here, trust me. Let's go. We'll be there.
What are the ticket prices? And is it reasonable compared to like any other fight night?
They're actually super cheap compared to like a pay-per-view. Like, I'm thinking about getting some pretty good seats. I want to see everyone make weight first.
I saw somebody drop on Instagram or Twitter that like one of the most expensive seats for the John Jones Miocic fight is like over 6 figures just for a seat.
That's crazy. That's crazy, amazing. Man.
We got to start hitting some more parlays, man. Get ourselves that seat. Get ourselves that golden throne in front of the John Jones fight. But I think that's at MSG, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's incredible. I wonder what do you get? Like you get jerked off when you buy that ticket? You get jerked off the whole fight? Is that how do you justify that price tag?
I would hope so. They feed you grapes. The fight happens.
Grapes and getting jerked off watching the UFC. That's ideal. But we can move on to holy shit. We've made it really far through this card, dude. We got 3 fights to go. We got Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Terrence Mitchell at bantamweight. One of the key Mexican American fighters here, the 18-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. 7-1, only dropping his last fight where he got pressed into the main events, the main card spot in the pay-per-view against Christian Rodriguez. Almost got the fight won in round 1, but kind of, showed that he believed his own hype a little bit. Gave all of his effort to that first round, didn't have much the rest of the fight, and was kind of submission or bust, just diving on legs, and lost that fight by decision. So he's got to come here and dust himself off, pick up the pieces of his career, keep this momentum going. And I think they gave him the best opponent possible in Terrence Mitchell, who's a guy off the Alaskan FC regional scene, a guy who's just not really UFC caliber. They already fed Terrence Mitchell to another young prospect last time in Cameron Simon, and he got finished within 1 round. So, I mean, is there any reason why Raul Rosas Jr. can't get a round 1 submission here?
No, absolutely no. I think he definitely gets that round 1 sub. Probably in the first half of that first round, dude. This guy is a very good grappler. He's going to feel into his frame the older he gets. Definitely dropped the ball in his last fight, but Christian Rodriguez is good, dude. It is kind of crazy, though, statistically. I mean, I'm not a big stat guy, but statistically, Raul Rosas lands less than 1 strike per minute, and he's minus like 800. So he just needs to get this fight to the ground, but it's just one of those things where his fights have been kind of weird. I was at the Jay Perrin fight in Salt Lake City, and he worked him. That was easy money for him.
That was really easy.
That sucks for Jay. I wanted him to look better. But, I'm pretty high on Raul Rosas. I know a lot of people kind of don't like him. He's kind of arrogant, talking about Aljo. And he could beat him. Yeah. He got that crimson chin, dude.
Dude, with a face for radio, you have to talk some shit.
Dude. Him and Vinner Jandiroba, any day now they'll be champs. But like you said, Terrence Mitchell, I should say, getting fed to lose here from the Alaska scene, not very good. Cameron Simon took him down like once, had some success early and then faded big time, man. This guy's never, won a decision. He gets finished here. His best area is the grappling, and he's nowhere near the same kind of grappler as Raul Rosas Jr., man. He is very good jiu-jitsu, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him show improvements on the feet. So Give me Rosas Jr. first round sub. Yeah, I think that money line's a little generous.
The money line is minus 800. Raul Rosas Jr. Terrence Mitchell plus 550. The underdog. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're going, Zach. Like that's not obviously. I'm not going to pay that price tag on most people, especially not an 18-year-old. Sort of maybe even a front-loaded grappler. But Terrence Mitchell, this guy is a pretty front-loaded fighter, a guy who's not making it out of round one very much. He's fighting a lot of low-level competition in Alaska FC, either outstriking them early and they quit, or lately he's been taking them down and submitting them himself, which is not going to work here against Rosas, who's like just a savant for his age when it comes to the jiu-jitsu, tight squeeze on him. And he follows a game plan. He goes for it, man. He's not playing around. He'll throw like 1 or 2 strikes, dive for the takedown, obnoxious strength for his age. And I think he does get that submission. I picked up the submission prop on BetOnline for 1 unit at minus 160, was it? Yeah, minus 160 Rosas Jr. sub. I think they're moving that around a little bit, maybe to 175 or so. Let's see here. I was surprised that it was that. I know that that's kind of like an easy way to cut down this big money line. That we are paying chalk for a prop like this. But, dude, like I said, he follows a game plan. Minus 175 on BetOnline for Rosas Jr. sub. Is there a chance he can just hold position and club and sub him? Possibly, but this guy wants to get the submission. That seems to be like just in his DNA at this point. Yeah. Looking for that rear naked choke. I think he gets it done pretty early. So, yeah, we got some people doubting. We got Houdini Beats not trusting him yet. I don't trust him yet either against high-level competition, but against a guy like Terrence Mitchell, I think he should get the job done. Like, what's Terrence Mitchell going to do? What is Terrence Mitchell's path here? Like, knock him out?
He has to clip him on the feet. I don't see him defending the takedowns. I mean, he was kind of throwing C-Rod around, but C-Rod had very good balance. And like you said, he almost finished that C-Rod fight in the very first round. I think that we'd be talking to him a lot like differently right now if he got that submission. But yeah, man, just a different level of grappling. You have him via sub. The only thing I have to worry about is him getting him flat, and pounding him out. But he's going to go for that choke. He has that Hamzat like pace. He's like going for the takedown right away. Definitely has to work on that as he gets older. But yeah, man, he's getting that sub in the first round, I think, for sure.
Two Sons saying Tasmanian Devil by sub, but no bet. Yeah, I mean, the Tasmanian Devil had a pretty big chin.
Dude, it's huge. Like it's tough.
I think he has some sort of disorder too, so I try not to make fun of him too much. I mean, he's a very handsome boy, but I think he does have some sort of disorder, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, I'm assuming.
I'm pretty sure. But Zach Singleton in the house. What is up, man? Never too late to see you in here. Good to see you, man. And we got 29 live viewers in here. Make sure you guys check the description. Make sure you subscribe to my boy Effie at the AnyActionSportscast. You will not regret it, man. He puts out awesome work. Like I said, man, he's got a fancy setup, good graphics, one of the best intros in the game. I know people like my intro. I think yours takes the cake, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. Yours is, I like yours though. Yours is probably one of the best. It's I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, damn, this shit goes hard. I'm ready for these breakdowns.
I made it in like a half an hour over a couple glasses of whiskey one night. I need to change it. I'll add some different clips to it. But man, I can never get on my creative side anymore because we got fights every darn week at this point. We're in week 16 out of 17 straight. Like, how am I supposed to do anything else besides tape the next group of 12 fights that come our way?
Yeah, and some of these cards, I'm like, who is this? Who is this person?
Yeah, I can't wait for there to be a break, dude. Not from a fan's perspective, just from doing the content. Like, I just need 1 week off to get ahead, do some other content type stuff I want to do that's not just gambling related, and we'll be back on track. But what do we have? We've got 1 week off in a couple weeks. I think another group of fights, and then we have like a full month off too. So that'll be sad. I will say though, like I will be sad when there's not 1 weekend of UFC fights. You kind of get used to that rhythm of like the week at work goes by, but at least you get closer to fight night, my favorite time of the week. But who sings the song in the intro? I think it's a band called like Neffex or something, like Neffex. You could actually probably find it at the bottom of some of the videos I have. They do tag it automatically. It's called Retribution. But yeah, we can move on to the co-main event. Pretty fun fight here. Another closely lined fight on the numbers. Kevin Holland versus Jack Della Maddalena at welterweight. We've got Kevin Holland, who has moved to a underdog of plus 140. Jack Della Maddalena, the favorite at minus 160. This was closer to a pick-em price tag earlier in the week and over the weekend. but people have been liking the Jack Della Maddalena side. I think this money line is close to accurate, in my opinion, so I don't really see an edge for myself and how I handicap this fight on either side here. I do like the Jack Della Maddalena side simply because Kevin Holland, I just can't trust this guy's fight IQ to use all of his skills, right? Like he's got a good BJJ. He's probably got some wrestling chops. He's got one of these physiques where it's like this guy could be champion at middleweight or welterweight with his physical God-given advantages, this 81-inch reach, 6'3" frame, this unbelievable power out of any strike he throws. But you can't trust him to employ like any grappling in this fight offensively, right? Like Jack Della is coming off of a close fight against Basil Hafez, who's a very powerful one-round guy. But that guy was employing takedowns from the get-go, shooting double legs like 20 seconds in. I don't think Kevin Holland is going to do that, man. Like Kevin Holland is a product of why you should watch your kids and not let them eat lead-based paint when they're, a toddler, why you shouldn't let your kids eat glue sticks as a kid. I mean, his brain just, I don't think it's fully developed, and you can't trust his fight IQ as a result. So I'll probably never bet Kevin Holland again, unless it's like a really big gimme spot. But I'm not going to bet Jack Della either because I think he is a very dangerous underdog. So who do you like in this fight? Do you think it plays out on the feet primarily, or do you think it plays out in the grappling a bit?
Yeah, man, no way Kevin Holland pursues the grappling here in this fight. He's going to have a 15-minute striking fight against someone that I think has a better technical striking here in Jack Della Maddalena. I think that frame is, like, we have to bring that up. That reach and size that Holland has for this division, it's tough, man. A lot of guys can't deal with it. I was at Holland's last fight against Chiesa, and I saw the face-offs, I saw the weigh-ins. This guy is big, dude. And Jack Della Maddalena has that messed up nose, and he kind of wears damage bad. But the one fight that he has that I look at, I'm like, all right, that makes me feel better, is the Randy Brown fight. Randy Brown has a similar type frame. He's tall and long, has a tall man defense, puts his head back, that sideways stance. And Jack is just able to find the body, man. He goes to the body, he rips the body, something I love. And I think that he's getting able to catch Kevin Holland here, dude. I think that he wins the decision in this fight. Kevin Holland is kind of dangerous because he reminds me of Oliveira in this fight, where if he does get clipped and dropped, he can kind of welcome Jack in that realm. But I've seen Kevin Holland have people in his guard and just get worked, man. That Darren Stewart fight was a long time ago, but Darren Stewart was kind of dropping bombs on him. He finished Jacare off his back, but even before that finish, Jacare was kind of controlling him. So I wouldn't, I don't think that Kevin Holland's going to, foresee him wrestling here. I don't think he's going to pursue that path. And I think that Jack's going to be able to piece him up to win a decision here. That frame is tough, but I think he's going to be able to get inside, similar to that Randy Brown fight. But give me Jack Della Maddalena, him pulling Gilly like 3 times in that last fight. I don't know what he was thinking. I was kind of crazy to see that. And I remember watching that fight, like, all right, I'm going to fade this dude against someone better in the future. Like, this is terrible fight IQ. But that's nothing like this fight. I think that this is going to be a 50-minute striking fight against a guy that's tall and long. And I think Jack catches him here. Give me Jack via decision.
It's funny. You see this playing out the way that I do for sure. I think it's the boxing, the clean technical striking, the switch stance ability, the body work, roasting the ribs with his punches against a guy like that's tall like Kevin Holland, who shells up. We saw him shell up against Wonderboy Thompson when he got tired and just guarding his face, let the body get exposed. I think we see that in this fight. But yeah, that long reach is going to be a challenge to get through for Jack Della. But I think his striking selection and footwork is clean enough to do so. And Kevin Holland, not always a guy that uses that reach to his best advantage either. So without Kevin Holland, hurting Jack Della and diving on a submission, I don't think this sees the grappling unless Jack takes it there. This might be a striking battle. We might just see a battle between either output on the numbers or whoever has the biggest moment of the fight. Whoever rocks the head back, snaps the neck back of their opponent might win the round here. And I think you're right. I think it goes over more than not. I think people are at least in agreement with that. We're seeing the over 2.5 rounds in this fight at plus 105. So both guys finishers. Jack Della has fought a lot of low-level competition on his way up here and gotten a lot of round one finishes. But Kevin Holland has some undeniable power as well. This is a big step up for Jack Della, which is keeping me off of betting his line. Kevin Holland at these underdog odds, man. I don't hate anybody playing this. I see a lot of love for him in the chat here, but yeah, I think I like the over 2.5 as the best bet for this one, but I still think Jack Della pulls it off. So even betting either guy by points, plus 300 for Jack Della, plus 375 for Kevin Holland by points. I think it might come down to who has just done more to impress the judges in this one. So who do you think is going to like pace out the fight the best? Like who wins round 1, who wins round 3 at a higher clip?
It's tough because I think Jack wins round 1 and then loses round 3.
Okay.
I think Kevin, has shown he has that gas tank better than Jack. Jack's gas tank, I think someone commented, is a little sus. I agree with that comment. And it's like you said, I don't even blame anyone betting on Kevin Holland here at underdog money. You have the guy that has a clear jiu-jitsu advantage and probably wrestling advantage. And he has that tall, longer reach. Like he has a frame with power, man, and experience on his side against higher level competition. There's a lot pointing to Kevin Holland in this fight, but I am going to go with Jack Maddalena. I think like that body works too good, that foot works too good. That last fight, was on short notice. That was his second weight cut in like 10 days. I know it kind of sounds like an excuse, but I really do think that he underestimated that guy, and that guy is tough. And has way better wrestling and ability to take the fight down than Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland. If it does end up on the ground, I don't think it's going to be because something he did. I think it's because something happened on the other side from Jack.
Shout out to Nick Alexander. Good to see you in here, Nick, man. He's saying, I think his gas tank was a little bit sus because of that double weight cut. Yeah, very good point. And I think you can see that he keeps a good poker face as far as like his fatigue levels. Like he doesn't show it on his face. He kept that pretty good. Part of why he won the decision, his optics were way better. Basel Hafez obviously was like gasping for air. His hands looked very hard to keep up defensively. He was kind of wilting whenever he was on the feet. But I think why you see people make those dumb, boneheaded decisions is because their cardio is kind of failing them, right? Like Jack was probably diving on guillotines because he was tired. You know what I mean? Like you start making really poor decisions when your brain's not getting as much oxygen as it needs. So as long as he can pace himself in this fight and dictate how the fight takes place, not have to defend a big, strong Basel Hafez, muscular, jacked up dude, diving takedowns on you and trying to get back up to your feet, I think he'll have an easier time here and probably be able to stretch out his effort over 3 rounds. But we'll see, man. I'm not the most confident. Obviously, I don't have any cash on it. So everybody who's on the Holland side on that plus money, hope you guys cash. That'd be a good one. So you don't have any overs, unders, or anything on this fight?
No, that's tough, man, because Hafez ate some clean shots from Jack, dude. Jack has good power, good uppercuts, like we said earlier, through the guard. For some reason, he's able to land those uppercuts through people's like hands, and it worries me. So, like something like a fight starts round 3 or over under 2.5, I think a big shot can come in this fight, and it wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Holland, either.
It would be sweaty,
but I mean, they're both so durable. I think it does go over.
All right. We're on the same side of that one. But what's up, Mushroom? Everybody check out Mushroom's live stream tomorrow. 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. This guy is always having one of the most entertaining live streams of the week, dude. I think he's adding guests, too. He had our guy Blood Money MMA Bets last week. You can see Mushroom smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, dude, talking shit with the live chat, and a super interactive live chat as well. He's always shouting everybody out. So go check that out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central. My guy Mushroom, love Mushroom. But we can move on to the main event. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe for all 30 people in here. And again, make sure you guys, please, as a favor to myself and just help Effie's channel grow at the AnyActionSportscast. This guy lives in Vegas. He's in the fight scene himself. He's done fighter interviews before as well. Are you planning any more of those in the future, or are you just doing the gambling stuff?
I want to go out and interview the fans again, man. I love going out to like press conferences and to the fights and just asking who they got and stuff. We had Fugit on our show. Might get him back on before his next fight, but yeah, man. I really like going out and interviewing the fans, man. It's funny, like you'd be surprised how drunk or how little the fans know or how just excited they are. Like I was shocked at how much fans Colby Covington had. Like when he fought Masvidal here, I was like, whoa. But it's always a good time, man. I always like to make fun videos like that.
Yeah. You forget, especially with like all of the people that watch our content, all the people in the chat right now, and all the people we know on Twitter, like how engulfed in the game we are compared to the average fan, right? Like it's just not the same. Like some people just want to go there and just see people throw down. They might not know who every single prelim fighter is. I think that's actually more rare than you would imagine.
Oh, 100%. Definitely.
Yeah, everybody in this chat is a hardcore talking about Marnik Mann and how many significant strikes she's thrown in a fight. Like, there's nobody else caring that much, right?
Yeah.
So we can move on to the main event. Title fight at Noche UFC. We've got Alexa Grasso, the reigning first-time defending flyweight champion. She takes on Valentina Shevchenko in a rematch from a fight that happened earlier this year in March. And it was a round 4 submission that night for Valentina Shevchenko, or I'm sorry, for Alexa Grasso, who came through as like a plus 750 underdog. Shevchenko had not been beaten in a long, long time, 7 title defenses, and that streak was snapped that night. But she looks to get it back here. A lot of people calling that we're seeing the decline of Shevchenko. You know, she had that very close split decision result. She just squeaked by over Taila Santos last year, and now this happens to her. She loses round 1 against Grasso, gets fairly outstruck by some big moments, uses her wrestling to probably take over rounds 2 and rounds 3. But come round 4, man, the tides were turning in that fight. And I think Grasso, even if she didn't get that back take and get the submission, I think she could have gone on to win rounds 4 and rounds 5. We're seeing some really good boxing from Alexa Grasso. We saw the switch stance ability really frustrate the southpaw Muay Thai striker in Shevchenko. And every time Grasso switched southpaw, she was landing clean combinations on Shevchenko back in March of this year to get that title. And her cardio looks good. Even against Viviane Araujo last fall, we saw Grasso look pretty much unaffected by having to, you know, defend takedowns and throw strikes for the course of 25 minutes. She looked very good in that fight, looked very good against Shevchenko. And I think she's going to look very good in this fight again and probably retain her championship. The money line is very close in this one compared to like the minus 1100 we saw from Shevchenko last time. She's now a minus 180 favorite, minus 170 on some books. We've got Grasso nearing the plus 155 mark at this point as the underdog, which, Effie, that's rare, right? That's rare to see the defending champion be a plus money underdog at this point. So that always turns my head when I see that. I end up wanting to find ways to back the champion. And I just think it's her time, man. She's 30 years old. She's going to have, like a 5-year youth advantage. She's still getting better. Her grappling looks to be improving to match her awesome boxing game that she employs. And I think it's her time, dude. So give me and still. I do have a 2-unit bet on Grasso. I took the plus 140 number, so you can do better on that as the week has gone on. But yeah, I mean, is there any truth to the fact that we might just be getting a discounted Valentina Shevchenko here, getting her belt back?
Yeah, man. So this either feels like a huge buy low opportunity on Shevchenko here at minus 170, or it's going to be easy money plus money on a reigning champion. But you said it's rare that we come in and seeing the champ, you know, at plus money, but it's also rare that we see a long-time reigning champion lose the belt and then get it back. Especially at 35 years old, man. Valentina in her last 2 fights just has not looked good. And I know she made that huge mistake with that spinning kick and then got her back taken against Grasso in the last fight. But she actually threw a spinning back fist and got taken down by Taila Santos in that 3rd round in that fight as well. So that's 2 straight fights where a spinning attack has led to a back take for Valentina Shevchenko. So I'm going with Alexa Grasso in this fight. I wish I could disagree. I feel like we have agreed a lot on this episode, but I'm going with the underdog in this fight, man. In that last fight, that southpaw stance, Valentina had absolutely 0 answers, dude. That took away her kick to the body straight away. And Grasso was landing clean on Shevchenko. Someone in the chat said that Shevchenko was winning up until that, or in that 4th round. And I don't know, man. In that 4th round, you see Alexa start to stuff takedowns and are pretty telegraphed, man. The cardio was not there, in my opinion, from Valentina. She's really only throwing 1-2s the whole time once Grasso goes into the southpaw stance. And Grasso actually initiates the grappling in that 4th round. She goes for a takedown in that 4th round. But I will say the one thing that has me worried, the one thing that's like, dude, I don't know, maybe this is a good spot for Valentina, is there were times where Valentina got those takedowns so easily on Alexa Grasso, man. And one point in the fight where they get separated a little prematurely here. I think they're in full guard. They get separated. Valentina's like, what the hell? Why are you separating me? 10 seconds later, she takes her right back down and, you know, she goes to work again. But man, Alexa Grasso has a very good jiu-jitsu coach, Lopez, the dude that didn't get submitted by Evoliv. And she looks improved, man. She's in her prime when she's younger. The champ has to make championship weight. Again, those weight cuts can be getting easy. And man, she just hasn't looked good in her last 2 fights. I thought she lost to Santos. I thought she lost the first 3 rounds. And she got big time saved by her eye swelling up. Santos' eye, pretty much she was fighting with one eye the last 2 rounds. And I don't know, man. I'm going with Grasso here. It's kind of built around the Mexicans on this card. But, dude, from minus 1,000 to minus 170, I don't blame anyone for thinking that Valentina is going to win. And I see a lot of Valentina Shevchenko decision in the chat, and I agree. I actually think this goes all 5 rounds. And if not, I think the finish comes again from Grasso, man. I just didn't like how telegraphed the takedown started to become the more that fight went. Every single time Alexa Grasso got any sort of striking off, Valentina shot, man. So Grasso won that first round, so it's not like she looked bad and then got good late. So give me Grasso. I'm going Grasso money line here, and still.
Yeah, she does. She does speak Spanish, and she's like Peruvian and Kyrgyzstanian, I think. So, yeah, man. Zach Johnson saying that if Shevchenko's on a mission, she's going to be scary, dude. That is. I mean, if she's blast double legs her in round one, like without even throwing a strike, then it's like, okay, my bet's not going to cash. Like if she ends up just going full wrestling mode from pillar to post, I mean, then that's game over. But can she continue that pace into the championship rounds 3, 4, 5? Last time, just like you mentioned, I saw the same thing. I mean, we saw in round 4, the takedowns were getting pretty telegraphed. It was easy for Alexa to kind of sprawl and brawl those and start planning around those. You're looking to take the back, looking to just strike her up when she does bow her head down and look for the sloppy takedown. And you got to know that, the camp of Alexa Grasso is looking to make even further adjustments, not just in the striking, but in the grappling as well, looking for ways to counter and either sprawl and brawl or, get takedowns of their own. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a leveled up offensive grappling game from Grasso in this one too. She seems to be getting better every time we see her. So it's going to be one of those battles to see which camp adjusts, which camp makes the right improvements and employs them in this fight. And I think either woman who wins this fight probably is going to see the scorecards and get their hand raised by decision. So I don't hate people in the chat talking about, playing it by decision. I don't hate people, even if you would take like 3/4 of your bet, 3/4 of a unit on the money line of your favorite fighter, then the other quarter unit, 25% of it on them by decision. I think that might be a good way to beef up and add a multiplier to your bet here come Saturday night. But yeah, I'm taking and still champion. I think this is a night that's going to showcase a lot of Mexican talent, which is why we agreed on a lot of spots here, Effie. But yeah, I mean, Alexa Grasso, I think this is just her time. Not to mention, you go back to some of these fights that Valentina's had. Lauren Murphy back in 2021, like that's kind of a gimme spot. No matter how good she looked, like she went to round 4 with Lauren Murphy before finishing her. Jessica Andrade, that classic crucifix position. Same with Caitlin Chukagian, got the crucifix on her. So what do we see with the Alexa Grasso fight? She tried to employ that crucifix, and Grasso's always moving her hips around, not letting her shoulders stay flat on the mat, and always looking for ways to get back up. So
good point, dude. Very active off her back. She's always moving, man. She's never getting held. But I think the very first sign of like, oh man, is she regressing, was that when she lost the round to Jennifer Maia. I remember watching that live, be like, what the hell just happened? Like, what was that? Like, but dude, Talia Santos was taking her down quite frequently, man, whether it be in the open mat or in the clinch with those trips. I was kind of surprised at how easily Talia Santos got those takedowns. So I would not be shocked to see Alexa go for those, even though she probably is an overall smaller fighter and woman overall.
All right, MMA Jesus, Dev the Dude, my boy. He's called it Grasso via KO. He called Sean Strickland via sub last week, and Sean Strickland won via decision. So if the trend continues, the MMA Jesus crystal ball, Grasso will win via decision. So glad we have the blessing from MMA Jesus himself. That is it, you guys. That is all 12 fights at Noche UFC. We agreed on quite a few spots. I think the only thing we disagreed on, Effie, was the Padilla-Nelson fight. I'm taking the dog there. You're on the young prospect. But I think other than that, I think we're pretty much lined up on this card. So hopefully that bodes well for our bets. And I think we found some agreeing sides as far as the overs and unders as well. So thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. I'll have you on, of course, in the future, as always. One of my favorite people to talk fights with. One of the best channels in the game as well. So do you have your full card breakdown out for this week yet, or are you still dropping that?
No, I'm going to film it tomorrow. I'm dropping it super late. But like you, man, like you said, I've been busy. The back-to-back cards are killing me, man. I got to get tape study in. A lot of new faces lately, especially in the UFC.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love fights. I love it every single week, man. Thanks to you guys. Shout out to the chat. Thanks for having me on, man. I love being on. Got to get you on one of our live streams here soon. I'm going to try to wait for a very good card to have you on. So shout out to Zach right here, man. Shout out to everyone. I really appreciate you guys,
Kiwi, thank you. 2 cents. Thank you, all you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Best chat in the game. Bunny Hunter as well. And everybody go down in the description. If you have not subscribed to this man, please do so right now. The show is over. Good luck on all of your betting action. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Cheers.